Well, hello everyone. I am super excited about this week, and actually the next 3 weeks we're going to be talking about family. It's something that I've cherished so much, and at the same time, maybe you feel the same way. I had moments where I dreaded it, and that was mostly during my younger years, but that's what kids do. We get angry with our moms and dads, and we are disobedient and we get angry. But hey, besides the fact, let's just talk about some things first off. We're going to be doing an amazing event with children and family ministry, like all kids, families together. Go figure, because we're talking about families. It is going to be a scavenger hunt. It's going to be getting you out of your house. Myself, Melissa, Judy, some of the other leaders, we're all trying to come together and collaborate and find historical places that you would drive to. And then there's going to be a box there that you have to find. And in that box will be a stamp, and you have to stamp a piece of paper or take a picture with your phone, whatever it may be. And then when you're all done, it's kind of like the Amazing Race, the first one wins sort of deal. But I don't think, and this is a challenge, I don't think you're all going to find every single historical event, because it's going to go all the way from Saco to Biddeford to Alfred. So it's going to be a pretty intense scavenger hunt. And here's the kicker. There's going to be a $200 reward for the first team that finishes, or the team that has, or family that has the most stamps. All right, so let's get into the lesson for today. Now, we're going to be talking about family. And before we get into family, I want to talk a little bit about my family and how I grew up, because I feel like now that I have the most amazing family. But when I was young, I really didn't think that. For instance, I remember when I was younger, and so I have my aunt and uncle. They lived up the hill from us. There was this hill, and it was like maybe 200 yards away from our house. And there was a trail that goes up through the woods on this hill, and then my aunt and uncle lived there. So we live here, they lived here, and one day I was just like, I am so upset with my mom and dad and my family. I don't even want to be a part of this family anymore. I'm running away.
Run, Forrest! Run away! Hurry!
So I decided to run away. So I walked across the street, hit the woods, started going up the trail. About halfway up the trail, I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect location to live the rest of my life. I was ready. I mean, I watched Pumbaa and Timon, and I know that you can eat bugs.
These are rare delicacies. Pecans with a very pleasant crunch. You're learning to love them. I'm telling you, kid, this is the great life.
And so I'm looking for bugs, and I'm ready to just stay here. I could build a fort, grab some tools. I could build a fort out of like trees and sticks. You know, you've ever made those teepees out of like broken down tree limbs and stuff. I mean, I was ready. Probably about 15 minutes into it, I got a little hungry, and I decided I really didn't want to eat any bugs. They looked kind of disgusting, and so I decided to go home, grab myself a peanutty buddy bar, and call it a day. The worst part was I got home, and I'm like, I'm back, and no one really even knew I was gone. So I've come to the conclusion that day God showed me something. Get over yourself and do your chores, because that's really what it was all about. Is I didn't want to clean my room. And yeah, fun story. It's life, though. It's family, right? And let's see, what else did I do? Oh man, did my sister and I fight. We got in fights before. Like, so here's how it works. You have a lot of siblings. So first is me and my older sister, and she's obviously 3 years older than me, so she's bigger, stronger, and all that fun stuff. And my little sister came along, and we just stopped liking each other, me and my older sister. We just fought over who gets to play with the little sister, this and that, to the point where I remember one time I jumped on her back, and we're a little older now, and I'm like, I'm gonna choke her out. And I got her in this headlock, and I'm over her, and then all of a sudden she starts backing up really fast, and I feel my back just go boom against the wall right next to the bathroom door, and lo and behold, I went through the wall. not through, but I dented it where the sheetrock was completely broken. And luckily my dad's a carpenter. He fixed it. We still got disciplined, mostly me, because I started the fight. So, I mean, you have family quarrels and arguments, and you have, let's see, what else did we do? Goodness gracious, there's so many stories. I probably one time I laid my sister, she had a little purple bike, and I laid my sister down on the ground, and I said, I'm in a jump, and I'm like, I bet you, don't worry about it. And actually I had two friends, Ryan Kutu and Jason Kutu. We grew up together. And I thought, I'll just come down the hill, we'll lay everyone down on the ground, and I'll jump everyone with this little purple bike, and I did. Yeah, that was a bad idea, because Katie, my youngest sister, was the last one in line. So if anyone was going to get hit, it was going to be her if I didn't go far enough. She survived. What else did we do? You know, family is family. And later on, now, I mean, let's just jump to now. We really look at family as very, very important. And the best time we've ever had growing up, obviously, was dinner time. And always being at the dinner table, no matter what time it was. Even if mom couldn't make it back home in time, we'd have the four of us sitting around the table, my two sisters, my dad, and me, and mom would come in a little late, but she made dinner though through the crock pot. It's funny, she's not there, but she was able to get dinner ready. And it was mostly because she was doing something with the church, and then she'd come home a little later, and then we'd all spend time together. But, you know, family time, even now, is important to me. We have every Tuesday night, my family, and every Monday night with Janelle's family, and we get together, and we just have food, and we have dinner. And sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 4 hours, but we spend time with one another because it's so important that you set aside your selfish schedule and put family first. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, you might think your family is the worst family in the whole world. I thought that one time. I thought my family was just, I tried to run away even. You have to understand, your family may be different than everyone else's family, but it's exactly where you need to be. Because God can use your family. Even if it's extremely dysfunctional, God can use your family. Let's look at the very first family in the Bible, in Genesis. Adam and Eve. God created them. They were perfect in every way. A garden and animals and all-you-can-eat buffet. I mean, are you serious? I would have loved to see all of the fruit trees and everything in the Garden of Eden that they could pick from. And it just blows me away that our selfish desires can easily ruin everything and just destroy everything. And so they, of course, they go on and they eat the fruit they weren't supposed to eat. Let's just keep going further into it. Cain and Abel. Their kids, Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel, and Cain is now, like a murderer. But here's the thing. I look at both those situations, and God did something to both situations that I think we miss. And I want to share with you, because he's doing it now with us. He doesn't give up on you. He did not give up on Adam and Eve. He may have kicked them out of the garden, but he finds ways to help us and want to grow closer to us. Sin obviously made it so Adam and Eve and God couldn't be with each other like walking through the garden anymore, because God can't be in sin, because God's perfect. He's sinless. But here's how I look at it. Just because you've made mistakes and you've fallen short and maybe you think your family is just a complete joke or failures or whatever it may be. Maybe you think your family's amazing. God can use your family. If it wasn't for Adam and Eve, and if it wasn't for Cain and Abel, so just a side note, Cain may have killed Abel, but God was able to then later on say, okay, this is what I'm going to do for you. And Cain had his own city. If you look even further into the Bible later on, Jesus came from that genealogy. You don't know tomorrow. You don't know 10 years from now. You don't know 30 years from now, 50, 100, 300 years from now. Who knows? Hopefully Jesus comes back by then. But your family could at some point, or maybe now, being used for God. Maybe your family's going to change the direction on where this world is heading. And I don't mean world as in the circular thing that we're living on. I'm talking about people. I'm talking about the church. I'm talking about people who don't even know who Jesus is yet. You have an opportunity to reach out to those people. And if it's not you, it's your kids, it's your kids' kids, it's your kids' 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 kids. So what I want to bring some light to is that, like I said before, Adam and Eve, they fell short, they made mistakes. And there's a verse in Romans 5:18 through 21. It talks about how Adam and Eve made a mistake and how because of their sin, now there's sin. But I want to read this to you, and I want you to understand something, because even though their mistake lasted for generation, now sin is in all of us. There's an amazing gift that God gave us, because God doesn't give up on family. He doesn't give up on you. He knows, and he has a plan for each and every one of us, and it's a good plan. And we just got to find out what that is and be obedient in it. But let me read this verse to you and show you how it doesn't matter how many mistakes you make, God's grace and God's favor is on your side, because he loves you and he wants the best for you. So read this with me. I'm reading it in Romans 5:18 through 21. I'm going to read it through the NLV. It says this: Though Adam's sin, death and hell came to all men, but another man, Christ, by his right act makes men free and gives them life. Adam did not obey God, and many people became sinners through him. Christ obeyed God and makes many people right with him. Catch this. Sin spread when the law was given, but where sin spread, God's loving favor spread all the more. Sin had power that ended in death. Now God's loving favor has power to make men right with him. It gives life that lasts forever. Our Lord Jesus Christ did this for us. That was Adam and Eve's family. Kept going on and on and on. And God found a way so we could be with him again. He used that family. He can use your family. He can use my family. I love my family. Despite all the quirkiness and the weirdness that we are, do me a favor. Stop and pray for your family. Thank God for your family. Start speaking life into your family instead of, I hate them, this is so dumb, I wish they would just change. In your private time with God, maybe right before bed or right before you get up in the morning and start having to deal with the day, let's put it that way, just stop and speak life into your family. Because God can use your family no matter what type of family you think you have. He used Adam and Eve's family. He can definitely use yours. So love you guys. I hope this helps you during this week. And I can't wait till next week when we share more about family and the importance of family.